As Daryl mentioned earlier, Jean is the chair of the Education Matters Board of Governors and a director of the Canadian Olympic Committee. He has also been the president of the Canadian Luge Association, chairman of the Calgary Olympic Development Association, and a chair at the Olympic Legacy Coaching Fund. Jean has a passion for a lot of important causes, including healthcare, sports, the arts, and education. Being a father of 3 and a grandfather, Jean truly understands the value of building excellence in Calgary's public education system. Dr. Jean Edworthy.
Well, thank you very much, Kat. And thank you all for coming tonight and helping us to honor our 2012 Distinguished Alumni of the Calgary Board of Education. George, Quincy, Paul, congratulations. You really represent us well, and you really represent the theme of tonight, commitment to success, very well. You've demonstrated that once one commits to success, the possibilities can become endless. I know that Daryl already acknowledged tonight the passing of one of our distinguished alumni, Peter Lougheed, but I too want to recognize that. And Peter went to school with my dad and my uncle, and so I had the opportunity to meet him a number of times through my life. And the most recent time that I spent some time with Peter was actually 2 years ago after the Vancouver Olympics, when he was inducted into the Canadian Olympic Hall of Fame. And I sat beside him at the table at the dinner, and then coincidentally sat beside him on the plane on the trip home from Toronto. And we sat and we marveled at the commitment to success and excellence that we saw in the athletes that were around us at the event. And so if anybody knows commitment to success, it's Peter Lougheed. This summer I was lucky enough to be involved with the London Olympics, and my wife Marion and I were in London and got to see many of our Canadians compete over there, and once again saw that commitment to success. That commitment, like for Simon Whitfield, to put another 4 years of his life into events where he's married and has 2 kids, and then has that tragic speed bump incident where it all just changes like that. But it shows the commitment that goes into making success happen. Success and commitment, of course, starts way more than 4 years ahead for these athletes. It starts way, way, way back as they're developing in school. And it's always struck me in my travels across this country to see that so many of our athletes, student athletes, still find that their commitment to sport actually takes them away from education. It's something that we don't see much around here anymore, but we used to. When I first got onto the board of CODA, we realized that many of our 1988 athletes and into the early 90s were dropping out of school to pursue their sports, or dropping out of sports to pursue their education. And that's when we started the National Sports School, a collaborative venture between CODA, which is now WinSport, and the Calgary Board of Education. Very insightful and enlightening approach to education, which became a leader in individualization of learning. That school has gone on to produce many medalists for this country and many Olympians for this country. And as a result, around here, we just don't see kids giving up their education for their sport, or their sport for their education, because they can do it here together. Other parts of the country are not so fortunate. Well, the National Sports School was located at Ernest Manning, my alma mater, which the city has decided to make it into an LRT station instead of a school. So when they demolished the Ernest Manning and built the new school, the opportunity came to move the National Sports School out to Canada Olympic Park, where it is today in a temporary situation. I'm telling you this because the Calgary Board of Education has asked Education Matters our group, to raise the funds for building a new school out at Canada Olympic Park for a permanent home for the National Sports School. And we're underway at the beginning of our fundraising campaign for this. Our budget for it is $9 million, quite reasonable for a school, partly because we have so many other facilities out at Canada Olympic Park that can be tapped into. I'm happy to say that we've got a commitment for several $million from the province, and we're looking at building a campaign for raising a few more million. I mention this because if any of you are interested in getting involved with us in this great endeavor, which really represents a lot of some of the pillars that we've got within the Calgary Board of Education, of individualized learning and citizenship, which really shows up in these student athletes, I ask you to get in touch with our team and see how you can help. At this point, I want to introduce some of our team at Education Matters. And I'd like to introduce some of my fellow Board of Governors. Now, I'll ask them to stand when I read their names. I'll ask you to hold your applause until the end. But I would like to introduce you to Nancy Close, Pat Cochran, Rod Garasino, who is also co-chair with me on the National Sports School campaign, Yan Go, Hanif Lada, Dr. George Lane, Linda Lidster, Dr. Mike Mahar, James McCreath, David McKinnon, Leslie Newton, Mike Saar, Mike Shake, who I should mention is one of our new elected senators in waiting, and Tamara Van Brunt, and our honorary ambassadors, David Pickersgill and Joanne Cuthbertson. I'd also like to welcome Education Matters past chair, the guy who told me this was about a 2-hour-a-month endeavor to be chair of this organization, Mr. Chris Fong, as well as Education Matters community volunteers Judy Duncan, Amanda Field, and Chris Hayes. Each of these individuals is committed to the success of our students. All of you tonight here are donors to Education Matters in various ways, some small, some big. But your commitment to student success and public education is truly inspiring. We can't emphasize enough how thankful we are for your support. I want to give all of you an opportunity to applaud yourselves for supporting public education in this city. Thank you. And finally, I just want to acknowledge the Education Matters staff for making tonight's event a success and for every day engaging our community and supporting public education. Now, I think the main course is about to arrive, so I will let you eat. Thank you very much.